Turn it up, turn it up.
There's the kick for the wingers. Taken out by Lewis. Lewis has got a bit of room to move. He gets on the back and done.
He could play any type of game you wanted. He was skillful and creative, but he was also tough and brutal. And he let you know it. I think he let the crowd know it.
Here he comes, but Wally Lewis, listen to the boos when he hits this ground.
And I think he thrived on the fact that he was hated.
Won't phase the Emperor, let me tell you. Wally the King, just that'll motivate him if anything.
Most probably the most nervous I've ever been was actually as a kid on Origin week. I hated him.
Fifth tackle, Queensland, watch for the bomb. Now they're going to go from there. Oh, it's so easy. Wally Lewis has got underneath for another try.
If there was no Wally, there'd be no Queensland spirit. So f*** you, Wally.
Well, he had this aura, and it just got bigger and bigger. Suddenly we realised we had possibly the greatest player of all time.
He saw things long before anybody else had kind of realised what was going on out there.
Growing up, that's all I watched. I'd watch it and I think, we got him, we got him, we got him. And then the King. The King did King things, beat us over and over.
He's soaking up every second of this. Wally Lewis with his left eye. Hammered into submission.
My first ever game I ever watched was State of Origin.
They take in these moments of glory.
So playing in the backyard with my number 6 Lewis jersey on, you know, opposition teams probably knew in that moment when the game was in the balance, he was probably the man to stop, and they couldn't stop him.
Oh, look at New South Wales, they can't believe it. And that's a great comeback from Queensland, ABLT.
He's a thinking footballer. He's a footballer that thinks.
He's probably the best footballer in Australia. Ever, probably, I reckon. Top bloke, mate. God.
He did it. He did it with a swagger. He did it with an up yours. He was arrogant.
If you think about it, and his impact on Origin footy, it's hard to fathom.
Unbelievable emotion here at Lang Park.
Hello and welcome to Turn It Up. Special day, we've got the King, Wally Lewis. Wally, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, Joey.
All that stuff, Origin footy, what did it mean to you to represent Queensland?
It was the ultimate honour. I dreamed about playing representative footy one day. We used to come along and watch New South Wales really thrash Queensland year in, year out, and to be able to have our players come home, the ones that were based in Sydney, and go into a State of Origin battle full of confidence. It was just the ultimate.
Wally, some comments there from some of our greatest players, our greatest coaches and greatest rugby league minds talking about you like that. You nicknamed the King. How does all this sit with you?
Well, it's an honour, Billy, but I've got to say that the nickname the King was actually given to me as an insult. Ray Price gave it to me, and it was just before a State of Origin game kicked off, and they said to Ray, well, what do you think about Lewis? Will he be the player for Queensland to do it? And he said, oh, look, I'm sick and tired of hearing about him. He said, fair dinkum, he thinks he's the King anyway. And, that went on and on and on and on, and it just never stopped. And Alfie and Gino and all the boys were again, King, come over here, King, let's have a drink with you, King. So it really hasn't stopped ever since. So it's one that wasn't accepted all that comfortably.
You captained Queensland 29 times in the first 33 games. It was semi-professional back then. What would you say your leadership style was in that arena?
Well, I think I learnt what it was all about, the leadership. To be honest, mate, I probably didn't know too much about it. I wasn't a captain in my younger days. When I had the opportunity to be involved in conversations with Arthur Beetson all about leadership, and he used to say that's what the Queenslanders need, is some sort of leadership. I was around about the same age as all the rest of the guys, and I know you've probably heard me say this one 100 times, but we had a group of blokes that were all born in 1959 or 60. Colin Scott, Kerry Bowstead, Gene Miles, Mel Meninga, Chris Close, myself, Mark Murray. Paul Vaughton, Wally Fullerton-Smith, Brian Niebling, Greg Dowling, Greg Kinescu and Dave Brown. Every one of those blokes was born in either 1959 or 1960, and by the time that we'd got to play senior grade footy, we'd played a whole pile of games against each other or alongside each other in the junior grades.
Well, when you were playing in the 80s at Origin, that's when I first started watching rugby league. I had an AFL background, and I used to record the games and re-watch them over and over and just study the way you played. And it gave me, or influenced me a little bit the way, you know, you always wanted the ball when the game was in the balance. That was something I learned watching you. But did you watch anyone or learn from any player in particular when you were growing up?
Beetson was the guy that I watched every time. We used to have to watch the Saturday afternoon games for the Sydney competition, and I loved the way that Arthur inspired those around him. And although we played a completely different game, it was fantastic to watch the way that he made the players alongside him come up with plays that they mightn't normally do. So I thought it was just a really easy way to be inspired myself to try and play a little bit better.
Billy asked you about your leadership. You'd take on Mark Geyer. He was bullying all you guys. So you could do it either way, Wally. You could do it with the ball defensively, but then you stood up and wanted to fight MG.
Yeah.
Talking about standing up to the bully. Here it is.
That was absolute stupidity on my part. He's a lot bigger than me, a lot tougher, probably won a lot more fights. I don't think I ever did win one. We're just trying to inspire the Queensland blokes to be able to go out and not take anything from New South Wales. They were all about being very, very dominant in that game, and to try and stand up. I didn't think he was going to throw one, or I was very hopeful he wasn't going to throw one. I'd still be snoring.
You speak about inspiration, and who in today's game do you love watching? Who's the player that you just love keeping your eye on when they play today?
Harry Grant.
Yeah.
Love watching him play. Love watching the way that he's sort of taken on some of the directions from a wonderful coach. And I think that the way that he's inspired those around him has done some wonderful things for Melbourne Storm. And as you know, Billy, I'm a chronic Melbourne Storm fan. Have enjoyed watching them for a long, long time. And I think Harry's certainly taken over a lot of the things that some of the older players have done.
Yeah. JT, Lockie, you got to wear the number 6 maroon jersey. What did that mean?
Yeah, well, there's only a handful of games that I've ever really been nervous for, and that was wearing the number 6 after Lockie for the Kangaroos. And I remember in 2008 when he did his knee, Scotty Prince come into number 7, and I was moved to number 6. And that series, I was extremely nervous because of the players that came before me that wore that number 6 jersey, and just trying to do the best in that position. Like, King made the number 6 in that jersey, you know. He put number 6 on the map, and then Lockie, and so you just try and do your best there.
Well, what I said before, I used to watch the games on repeat, and the number 6 Queensland jersey is the most famous ever. So to actually get the jersey and have to wear it and fulfil your responsibility was a huge, a lot of expectation on that, but also a huge responsibility. But just being able to wear it, the jersey after someone like Wally Lewis was very, very special.
Wally, on the field, you're pretty much invincible, bulletproof, but you've had some health battles after your career finished. How did all that feel going through all those challenges that you can't really control that stuff?
No. Well, the early ones was the epilepsy times, Billy, when I went to Melbourne, and you were kind enough to spend plenty of time with me and help me fit in very well at Melbourne. I've got to thank the doctors at the Austin Hospital down there that have allowed me to enjoy life all over again. I haven't had a seizure since that occasion where I went to the hospital, and that was 2007 when the surgery took place. And it was fantastic. So I got to thank you guys and Melbourne Storm for taking me on and giving me the opportunity to be able to talk about footy, even when part of my brain was removed. And I get told by my good mate Gene Miles these days that I must have taken a considerable amount because there's not much left.
Wally, you're an immortal, but unfortunately we don't live forever. When you do kick the bucket, where are you going to be buried? There's talk you're going to be buried here.
Yeah. Oh, that's the story. I said both of my grandparents live within 300 metres of the ground here. I've been told plenty of times that I've been here that they hope I do die here, and it's as soon as possible. There's an area out the front, but I think that was it was almost a. It wasn't quite a joke, but it was brought up. But I've spent enough time in this place. I should be buried here.
You've buried plenty of opposition here, so it might be fitting. Hey, big game this afternoon, Wall, and talk about some of your heroics out here on this field. If you could play one more game, what jersey would it be?
A Queensland jersey. Yeah, love to do it. I loved all of my time playing for Queensland, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to New South Wales, but it was something that it was the greatest challenge for me when I was wearing the maroon jersey, and I got the opportunity to be able to enjoy some success. I do it here at Lang Park or Suncorp Stadium. If I did it in Sydney, I know I'd get the Wally's a wanker would come out straight away, but it'd be an opportunity, I think, to take a trip down memory lane.
What about the Broncos today? What do you think?
Yeah, well, they're a bunch of young men that have got plenty of opportunities. They've got some great challenges in front of them. Not too many people do expect them to win. I think, you have a look at the opposition they're up against, who have got some pretty great challenges in front of them. They've had some tough times throughout the course of this year. But I think that it's certainly going to be a game that we're not going to forget for a long time.
Before the Broncos come in, Brisbane League, play for Valleys and Wynnum.
Yep.
Was there ever an opportunity for you to go to Sydney and play in the New South Wales Rugby League?
Yeah, well, it's the well-known one. I know you guys have heard it 100 times that I wanted to. Unfortunately, the club that I was playing for, they went broke, so it was an opportunity to get to play in Sydney. Gene Miles and myself both flew down. Kerry Packer, the great Kerry Packer, was wonderful enough to fly us to Sydney, and we got the chance to tell him how much it was going to cost Manly to get us there.
100. 120.
Well, we were only going to ask for a shorter one than that, but we asked for a little bit more than that. 150 might have come in.
150.
And Mr. Packer sort of just took us in and said, "You're easy. Get out and get the next bloke in." Gino walked in and he asked for his money and he got it, but unfortunately we didn't get the chance to be able to do it. And there's been plenty of people very happy about that. Fatty was one.
Yeah.
He said, "You would have taken the captaincy off me," and he said, anyway, he said, "I couldn't cop you." He said, "Imagine having to put up with you every day of the week."
Well, thanks for coming on, Wall. All our heroes, even though you're a Queenslander. But thanks for coming on, mate. We absolutely love you. And I think, is Freddie up the Caxton? So after the break, you're going to see Freddie at the Caxton. So
he'll be welcome.
This will be real good.